Alright guys, so we're going to do some more Patreon requests, and this one comes from Tom Hibbert, who asked me to do a video of a Patreon request of a Haunted Mansion Ghostbusters crossover. So, but before we get started, as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. You enjoy this, and let's get started. So the video, the story basically begins with essentially what happens is that the crew, which we're going to go with the original, we're going to go with the OG instead of Extreme. I've done a lot of Extreme Ghostbusters, but this is the original Ghostbusters group. So the Ghostbusters are in New York when they get a message. Janine gets a message from an anonymous caller. And the caller basically has this message of, there is a place in New Orleans that is so haunted with and so flooded and infested with ghosts that no one can enter it. Like, no one can enter this place. It's so haunted that not even a priest could take 5 steps in front of it. And they want to take over the land. This anonymous caller is like, yeah, if you can find a way to get rid of these ghosts, then my company will pay you. We'll pay you $7 million for everything. And Venkman is like, 7 million, and they're like, and they said, and that's just incentives. Oh, so it turns out when they go, and they're like, well, what are we waiting for? We could go, like, Venkman's like, we could go down there, and it's like, how big is it? Egon's like, I don't know what like, when he says infestation, we don't know how many ghosts there are. We aren't prepared for, like, a full-blown, all-out war with ghosts. And Winston is like agreeing with Egon, and Ray is basically like, well, let's go see. It would be kind of cool to see. Like, New Orleans is one of the most, if not the most haunted place in America. It would be kind of interesting to study that place. So they all agree to go down there. They all go, and what they find out is that their anonymous caller was this land developer who bought the rights to the land, and was planning on bulldozing the mansion until he found out it's flooded with ghosts. Ray does some digging and figured out what place he's talking about: the Gracie Manor. The Gracie Manor is said to be the most haunted place in America, and is flooded with, it's said to be with nearly 1,000 ghosts. And Egon's like, he's talking to Peter, and he's like, Peter, we've never dealt with a place that has had that many spirits in one place. That would be nigh impossible to clean out. Like that would take us ages. And he's like, Egon, I'm sure we will come up with something. We're the Ghostbusters. How hard is it gonna be to clean out a few ghosts? Like, how hard can it be to take out some trash? It's just like taking out trash, just on a bigger scale. You know what I mean? It's not going to be that hard, Egon. Just relax. It's not going to be that hard to do. So when like I said, they get there, they talk to the land developer, and when they reach Gracie Manor, that's when they're like, they check the they just scan it real quick, and the thing goes haywire. And Egon is like, I've never seen this much paranormal activity in my life. Like, this place is a hot spot. And so they go in, and the ghosts are already, like, aware of what's going on. Like, they see it, and they're like, Ghostbusters, and they're like, oh, it's the Ghostbusters. Oh, this is gonna be fun. So when the Ghostbusters enter the mansion, they immediately get split up. Like, the house is quite alive, and it has split them all up. And like, Venkman goes in and is like, all right, spooks, we're the Ghostbusters, and here to evict guys, where the hell did you guys go? And that's when the ghost host is talking to all 4 of them as they're all, like, separated and split up throughout the house. They're all completely So, like, they're all completely cut off from one another. So from here on out, they are on their own. And they all start off in different places. Venkman is in like the center of the house. He's like in the entrance, and Egon finds himself in the dining room. Winston is in the attic, and Ray finds himself in the library. So from there, they're all like, of course, Winston has to. Of course, we start off with Winston, where Winston is basically just chased mercilessly by Constance with swinging her hatchet back and forth. Like, she is just constantly coming at him again and again until finally he manages to escape. Then we have Egon, who finds himself surrounded by ghosts in a ballroom, and he also encounters the dueling ghosts. We have Ray, who gets books thrown at him. Venkman is sentenced to the endless hallway, and he is like, everyone is just getting chased around, and they keep using their proton packs, and they do manage to ward off a few ghosts. But the problem is that there's just so many ghosts around that it's nigh impossible to like pin down just one spirit. And unfortunately, that's kind of the problem, is that all the ghosts are like, they're fighting on their home turf, and they don't plan on going anywhere. And then when the guys finally like find their way back to each other, like, they all just like are running through the house until eventually they all just come like run into each other, and they're all like, okay, what do we do? We can't, there's too many, there's 4 of us and 999 of them. And Venkman's like, yeah, it's an even fight, totally. And that's when Ray gets the idea of like, wait a minute, I think, guys, you're not going to like this, but I think this calls for some negotiation. And Winston's like, I just got chased around by a crazy bitch with a hatchet. I am really open to peace talks right now. So Ray and Egon beseech the spirits in the house, and the ghost host, who speaks for everyone, talks to them and is like, why? Like, he's like, spirits, why do you want to harm us? And they're like, we don't want to harm you. We're retired ghosts. We just don't want you here, and we don't want that guy bulldozing or destroying our house. And this is a retirement home for ghosts. This isn't like the Haunted Mansion is meant to be a retirement home for ghosts. That's why there's so many who live here, from so many different eras. If you displace us, it's like displacing a bunch displacing a bunch of people from a housing complex. Where are we gonna go? And Venkman's like, oh, I don't know. You guys seem like you guys can go haunt like another cemetery or maybe the Overlook Hotel. And Egon's like, you're not helping. So they negotiate, and they're like, all right, I think we know what to do, because and he's like, yeah, but Venkman's like, yeah, but $7 million. Yeah, but think of the alternative, 999 ghosts. And they're like, what would you rather have more, Venkman? $7 million or nearly 1,000 ghosts coming to New York to haunt us and making our lives a living hell? And he's like, it was a good example. So, through some finagling, they make the Gracie Manor a historical landmark that cannot be bulldozed, and the landowner is just pissed off, and they go home, and they're like, so we didn't catch any. Venkman's like, we didn't catch any ghosts, we didn't make $7 million and more. There's a lesson here, and I didn't want to learn it. So there's your story, guys. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this crossover? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. Once again, I thank Tom Hibbert for this Patreon request, as well as continued patronage. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.